Welcome back, everyone. It is a beautiful day. We are wrapping up reveals right now for Zenkai Series 8. We just got the campaign reveals yesterday. I'm so excited to look at them in a different video here. But right now, we have to go over some other cards that were shown off. These don't really have a place within a specific video, right? These are going to be the support cards for previous archetypes. In the last few sets, Bandai's done a really good job at ensuring that basically every color gets one or two decks that are immediately supported pretty shortly after release, and I think that's a really great way to help decks that were maybe just like missing a little really keep up, right? We really kind of started in, I believe, Wild Resurgence, right, and immediately brought both Black Trunks and Black Meki Kabuto back into contention, and I think that's really sweet. So I'd love to just go over these options with you, see what we've got ahead of us, and let's dive right in. So, one of the decks immediately supported in red is Vegeta from last set. This is the soonest we've ever had this turnaround, literally one set ago. So the red Vegeta leader is all about making the wish, performing the ritual of getting each of the specific names underneath the Z Extra card, and then allowing you to go into the Z Unison with plenty of markers. So let's take a look at these cards. Right off the bat, immediately we notice that they are double names. This is very, very huge, just in the fact that it allows you to slim your deck list a little bit. Having more different names allows you to, right, Trunks was already the worst name in the deck, so it's something that you can just, hey, supplement it with 3 or 4 of this, and now you suddenly aren't running any of the double strikers, or you're running less of the guy that just combos. Just a really easy way to gain free advantage. So, Vegeta and Trunks just in time. Red, when a card is played added to your Z energy by one of your skills, play this card from your hand. So, really it's the same effect as all the other 4 drops in that deck, where when one is placed, you just pay red and play this card from your hand. It's a 30k, which is pretty huge, and when it attacks, you choose any number of your opponent's battle cards that add up to 25 or less and KO them, and then you place this card in the Z energy at the end of the battle. Much like, again, all of the other cards, after they've attacked, they immediately go to the Z energy, so that way your leader can start cycling them and putting them underneath your Z Extra. The Gohan and Videl. This card is really broken in this deck and really bad in others, so it looks like, oh my gosh, a 0 10k in red, that's broken, except permanent this card gets minus 9,000 combo power in all areas. So it doesn't really do its good there. But when your backside is a Vegeta's Awakened Feeling and your opponent has 2 or more energy, and it's their turn, at the end of the when it's using a combo from your hand, you can play it from your drop, which is just like free instances of additional combo power, right? So you can just combo, and then oops, there's another blocker that your opponent has to deal with, which of course then could be leading towards something like a Bunny Girl, if they wanted to remove it, and if not, then it's like, okay, well hey, now it's just an extra block, or you can combo it again to get out of an attack and build the Z energy. It is limit 1, so you can't like do it infinitely, but honestly, just getting a free combo to get out of something and then making a blocker is really strong. Not to mention the fact that then when you negate card skills on combos, like, so I think the Unison negates card skills when you're attacking with it. Hey, look at that! That's a free 10k combo right there! That's pretty solid. So just really good. Again, Gohan and Videl were actually some of the better names, right? You have like Videl counterplay, you have the super combo Videl, Gohan has defeating the demon, as well as the 4-cost Gohan himself. So it wasn't really that big of an issue, but it is still something to take advantage of if you can get free 10k combos and replace some of the super combos with maybe Raditz. Blue Raditz. I guess speaking of Raditz, this deck was all about hand knowledge and playing out 16Ks that did a lot of stuff. So these cards are really... I think this card is both really good and really bad. I think the Activate main is super crazy to just play a Scouter from your Z deck outright if your opponent has a Goku in play. That's a common thing to ask for. I think there's going to be a lot of times where some kind of Son Goku is in play. Granted, it doesn't say with a Son Goku in its card name, so it is a little more restrictive, but like if you're playing against green, it's gonna happen. If you're playing against red, decent shot it happens. And if you're playing against blue, average shot it happens. Black and yellow are... Actually, even yellow is still pretty good, so I'd really say it's really just black that has like a effective 0% chance to happen. So when this card is played, you'll choose all of your opponent's battle cards, return them to their owner hand, and then they place one card from their hand at the bottom of their deck. This card has Barrier, and then at the end of your turn, you're going to go ahead and give it Blocker off of your Raditz, at which point then, once it's a Barrier Blocker, it's harder to remove, but if it is removed, Scouter is going to trigger, and you can go ahead and play other cards. So this card is good. I don't think it's going to bring Raditz into contention. I think Raditz was already one of the more slept-on decks of our previous formats. But when you actually think about if this card is making a difference, maybe not, right? I could see it played at like 2 or 3, just that way there's more 16k Raditz names, just because then when Nappa is removed, you can play it. But I don't think that's going to really make the biggest difference in the entire world. And then getting the free Scouter activation, though, kind of is. The pre-release Nappa. This deck was extremely overlooked and way undersupported. I think in the set it got like 3 cards that kind of worked with it, but it was super complicated to get enough Cyberman tokens for things to matter. So let's see if this helps. The activate main is if your leader is a blue Nappa and your opponent has 2 or more energy, you can just play it from your hand in rest mode, and then it can't switch to active mode at the start of your next charge phase. Basically meaning that you're supposed to be able to free play it, but not get any value off of an attack. So then when it's KO'd by a Vegeta skill, you draw 1, and then activate main for a blue, you can switch it to active mode and play 2 Cyberman tokens. Now all of a sudden you're talking about a 1 cost that makes 2 tokens, draws a card, and attacks at 16k. That's really huge when you think about how it's actually going to function for the deck. Once you put all 3 Cyberman tokens from your leader's skill in play, now you're talking about getting the dual attacker online, and that card is really strong. So I think this card is a really good level up for the deck, but the deck was so far behind that I don't think it's going to really go anywhere in place. The leader is really generic, but it doesn't quite do enough in order for our friends to really make a difference here. This is not technically only Unison Warrior 8 Metacooler. It also technically works for the yellow deck, but I just wanted to kind of put this one here. So the multifaceted attack is this 6-drop, which is also pretty cool, right? It does allow for better successor plays. But if you have 3 or more infinite multiplication cooler in your battle area and 3 or more energy, your Metacooler cards all get +5. So now all of a sudden your guards are swinging at 20, and I actually think there's another cooler card. Yeah, right, so this one actually just says if there's 20 or more, right, the leader makes all of them get 20k anyway, and so suddenly maybe they're swinging at 20 or 25, and that's really huge. If your leader is a Metacooler and you discard 2 other Metacooler cards from your hand for a green, you draw 3 and play it from your hand, then place up to 3 from the drop to the top of your deck. This allows you to stack your deck for the Big Getty Star, which then you can then mill and get the free plays, and suddenly, okay, now the ball is kind of rolling. However, I still think this card is not going to be enough, right? Honestly, the fact is that the Green's one's defense is not going to be good enough for you to actually go anywhere. There's enough board wipes in the game that playing a bunch of 2-cost 15Ks is not really going to be the difference maker. It's not that I think the deck is honestly as bad as one would guess from this kind of joke deck, but I really don't think it's quite good enough. Green, Trunks, and Mai. Another really fresh one, just 2 sets ago. We got a Triple Strike, Deflect, Union Patora, Vegito, just for 3 green over the green Vegeta Z battle card and the green Goku, which effectively means this card costs 4 because you pay 1 for the Vegeta, 3 for the Union Patora. When it's played, you remove 2 markers from a unison, your opponent discards 1. I don't think that's good enough for 4. Especially on a 25k body, it's just not. Activate main, limit 1 if your leader's a green card with both Trunks and Mai future. You have the Vegeta fusion in the future, which I think is the Z battle card. You discard this card from your hand, you add up to 1 Vegito fusion in the future, which is the old SR. I don't think this card is good enough. It's so expensive. As a triple striker, I think it is still a decent replacement in like OG Vegito. You can basically use this to, snipe out unisons if you're playing against a unison-based deck and you want to decide into it as like the Rainbow Vegito deck. But I don't think Trunks and Mai is really going to be able to make anything happen out of this. The deck was already really crammed with good green stuff. Trying to fit the actual Vegito cards in there really didn't work on release, and this card is not going to really fix that. Yellow Baba. This deck's cool. It's not good, but it's cool. It's all about stacking the top of your opponent's deck, right? You usually check the top 3, and then you place them back in any order. And when you know the top card of their deck, all of your cards require you to check the top card, and then if it's, you know, X or lower, or if you call the number right, then you get an additional effect. And some of these cards are really good, and some of them are really bad, but, like, the part is that you have to play the bad cards to play the good cards, right? It's a full chain process. You have to go up an entire 2, then 3, then 4, then finally the 5 is pretty good card, and that's really where it's kind of rough. So I'm going to go ahead and read the spike, because I think this is the good card. When this card is played for a yellow, you'll go ahead and reveal the top card of your opponent's deck. You'll place it down, and then you'll choose from the following. If it's a battle card, you can duel. If it has a 5 or less cost, you KO one of their rest modes. And if it's a 20 or less, you draw one card. This is an extremely potent effect. The way that you could read this, right, most decks are going to place enough cards that cost 5 or less with 20 or less power. At the very least, they've all got 4 super combos. So when you start stacking their super combos to the top of their deck, usually you put it towards the bottom of their top 3, and then you can just rearrange it that last time, and suddenly this is, hey, this is a 20k dual attack that draws a card and KOs one of your opponent's rest mode cards. That's really good. Like, I don't have to really express how broken that is, and at the very least, it's just activate main. If you have 3 or more cards under the field card, play it from your hand. 20k for free. That's pretty good, right? I don't think that one really needs an explanation. And then if you have the yellow energy to play and you know the top card of their deck, check it out, do their effects, get the extra stuff off. At the very least, right, even if they've only got like an 8 cost or something, you're still a dual attack draw a card, right? Or dual attack, or you removal if it's a 5k. Like, there's so many different ways that this card can be good. I think this card is extremely strong for the deck. It's just that the deck was still a little behind. And then Sun Gohan, Final Thug. This goes over the Z Battle card. For a yellow, you activate main battle, draw one, switch to active mode, and play it on top. But unfortunately, the Z Battle card already costs a lot of resources, and so to pay another 1 on top of that to play this card, just to check the top card of their deck and then potentially tap one of their cards, I don't know if that's good enough, right? I think that this card is going to be way win more, because if the Goku or the Gohan Z Battle card does come down, it's like a 25 or 30k dual attacker that removes cards. Like, I don't think it's going to be the difference maker for this one, but I do think the spike is going to shore up a lot of this deck's mid-game issues with the removal, some extra pressure, and a little extra draw power. So this is a very mixed bag. We have one really good card, one really bad card, but the archetype is still quite mid. This is the one I think is the best. I think this is by a lot the best support we have. I cannot believe that they supported this deck, and especially in such a strong way. So the Kaioken Vegito just goes straight on top of any of the black Vegetos with an energy cost of 6, which is, of course, all of them. It's a barrier blocker 30k, and then when it's played, you draw 2 and switch to active mode. That's a hand size +1 with an extra 25k attack on top of it. And then just activate main limit 1. This is the really broken part of the card here. And you reveal it from your hand. You just discard another card and play up to 1 Goku or Vegeta. That's pretty good. Just play one name. Just play a name, and it doesn't negate the skills. And since you play the starter deck cards, they're gonna play each other. And suddenly you go, oh, I discarded 1 for 2 cards, and that 1 card immediately turned into the 6 drops that most evolve for free. Or, not evolve, Union Potara for free. So this card is super crazy. I'm really impressed by it. I honestly can't wait to play it myself. I've got a set of proxies ready to go for it, so something to look forward to. I'll probably even play it on Untap later today on stream. Although, granted, this will be out well after that stream. But you guys can check it out. Twitch.tv/DaneReich. Goku and Vegeta battle on a planet. This is a really generic card. Just double name, negate the attack player's card. If you have a black Vegito in play, it's going to be free. Super, super easy. Just a huge body to negate, and then it's obviously both names, which is cool. And then my Fusion Warrior Support. When it's played, draw 1, and then you can warp it from your drop. The next time you want to activate the Trunks that's underneath the My Z Battle card from the deck, it costs 1 less black, which basically means it's going to be free. So suddenly this card actually turns your Trunks into a really reliable recursive part of the deck, right? Using the Mai to Z-stack the Trunks. Before, it was super expensive and it only played from drop, so you had to get those cards into the drop area first. But this card just being that at the end of the game you can warp it to basically pay 1 out of your Z deck to produce another fusion set is really, really strong. Not to mention the fact that you already have these 8, you know, the 8 cost Vegito here to reset your chain to. There's so many ways to recur these cards. I'm just really impressed at how strong this entire archetype really came together here. I'm really excited to play it. You're going to draw a metric ton of cards. You've got just enough removal. The pressure can be really insane. So, great job, Bandai. I'd love to see more stuff like this, especially for starter decks that only get like 5 or 6 of their own unique cards. Getting just a couple more is a really big deal, and I really love to see it get more rounded out as we move forward. So, very impressive. And that's really it. The set has tons of potential. I'm really excited to see how these things shape up. I really think that the best ones are Red Vegeta and Black Vegito, but I only think Black Vegito will see any play. I don't think the other ones quite make up to where we need to be in terms of red card quality. So I hope you guys have a great day, and good luck cooking.